What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip and welcome back to another toy review. And today we're going to take a look at the HG Destiny Gundam Spec 2 clear color version from Gundam Seed Destiny Freedom. Gundam Seed Freedom. I said Gundam Seed Destiny, but this is from Gundam Seed Freedom. So, before we take a look at the actual unit itself, so we're gonna take a look at the box. So actually I have it right here. So this is the box that it comes with. So as you can see, there's a special box art for the movie, and as you can see from the name, movie release commemoration package version. So this is Destiny Gundam Spec 2 clear color. Again, as you can see, this is the box art. Now, compared to most HG kits, they do have it in a landscape. This is a portrait version. So, well, I do remember like older Gundam Seed kits from way back. So they do have this kind of horizontal, or rather, portrait style packaging. So on these sides, so you have the same package, again, the same art. So on this side, so this is again the Destiny Gundam, and on and the other kits that they have for this line. So we do have the Immortal Justice reviewed, and this is of course the Rising Freedom Gundam. I don't have this one, and I'm not yet planning to buy anytime soon. And of course, they're also promoting the SDEX line with this one. So anyways, let's take a look at the actual model kit. So let's check out the articulation on this thing. So for the head, it does have a lot of movement. So it can even go 360 around, even with the collar parts on. So that's what you get. Now, as for the arms, so because of the shoulder armor, it doesn't really move higher, like even 90 degrees, but the arms can swivel out like so. So the joint does allow for that. Yeah, there's, you just gotta pull it out like so. But yeah, you can do some sort of an arm swivel out from the shoulder for more dynamic poses. But because of the beam rifle, it kind of gets in the way of the elbow. So I'm gonna take off the shield. We're gonna check that out later. So I'm gonna use the left hand as my basis for articulation review. And this just came off on me. Anyways, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like so. But so let's take a look at the left hand, and I'm just putting back as we move on. There we go. So if we look at this side, hopefully you can see it on camera. It can move naturally like this on the elbow. So of course there's like an upper bicep turn. Now for the hands, they are on a ball joint, so they can move around, but because of the armor parts here, or here, you can probably see. So because of these armor parts, you cannot move around the hand like this. So be careful with that. So for the ab or the torso, it does have a very nice ab crunch. Like a little bit too easy on my opinion. I prefer it to be a little more tough, I would say. So the waist is on a ball joint. So just attach it in there. It still works fine. It's not that loose that it's flimsy, but again, you can probably tighten that up with some top coat, or like apply a thin layer of super glue, let it dry, and stick it back in so that it becomes tighter. So the front skirts, so they can move around like so. and you can cut in the middle, so the inner part, so it can be cut in the middle, so you can move them individually. So the side skirts are kind of in the way, so I'm gonna turn them around and kind of lift them up. And if you do that, so you can get basically 180-degree split, which is really nice. Of course, the thighs can turn around inside the joint, and the knees. So the leg thruster on the calf does get in the way, but you know, you can basically get more than 90 degrees on that. So that's not the full way through, but yeah. Probably because I'm doing this with the backpack on, I'm too lazy to take out the backpack, I guess. But yeah, you can move the knees, or you can bend the knee more than 360. So the legs, or the feet rather, so they can turn around like so. And there's a so yeah. So that's the feet pointing down, and there's even a toe bend. So yeah, you can do that as well. But I'm gonna place it back. And then we're gonna take a look at the backpack, so the wings. So as you can see, these can flip open. Of course, same on the other side. So there we go. And if you look from this angle, you can also see that there is a bit of a flapping action that you can do. I'm gonna put these down again. Now we're taking a look at the Arendite beam sword, and it's a beam cannon. So they are attached onto these parts, and there are some like arm-like attachments, so you can move them around as well, which is really nice. So I'm gonna pull out the Arendite beam sword and open it like so, and you can actually align this part, and then it kind of locks into place. Okay, so that's the Arendite beam sword, impressively long. So yeah, I'm gonna fold this back in like so. You can see the groove attached right here, and then I'm gonna put the sword back in like so. There's a slot in here. Okay, and then we're gonna take a look at the beam cannon. So this one you don't have to take off from the backpack, so you can just open this part, and like the Arendite, it just you kind of just lock it into place by aligning it. And then thanks to the movable arm attachment on the back, we're just gonna slide this over to the front like so. And there is also like a handle attachment over here that you can flip open. So there you go. And if you want, you can put the hands, like you can have the Destiny Gundam grip the handle on the beam cannon like so. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, that's basically it. So I'm just gonna fold back the beam cannon, fold back the handle, and yeah, basically that's the articulation of this mobile suit. So as you can see, as for the accessories, we have a beam rifle on the right hand. So there's a small issue for me with the beam rifle. Like by itself, it doesn't really attach on tightly. Although to attach the beam rifle onto the hand, so this is your typical high grade, sandwich the beam rifle in between the hand parts, and basically you're good to go. Although with a bit of careful aligning, you can make the Gundam grip the beam rifle tight enough. So the shield, which is on the left arm, so this has a sliding feature that okay, so because there we go. So yeah, so you can slide the beam shield like this, and I'm just gonna close it on camera so you guys can see. Okay, so my hand is in the way, but yeah, so there we go. I just pushed it back in. So those are the accessories that you see on this Gundam right here. Now, I guess another thing that I might have to mention, because the back can be quite heavy, I do recommend getting this one an action base, especially if you're gonna go for poses. So what I have here is this Shokugan action base. This is from Bandai, by the way. And any 3mm peg action base would do, in my opinion. So yeah, I do recommend getting an action base for this one as well. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that for the beam rifle, so on the front, so there's this handle that can swing around like so, and the camera sight can also swing around in place. So yeah, that's it. So let's so I'm gonna show you other things that are not yet attached onto my Destiny Gundam. So I have here this completely unused runner, and this is for all the beam effect parts that you see here. So obviously the two biggest pieces that catch your eye would be the wings of light. So of course you open the wing parts and you attach them in between. And on the top you can see here, so this is the beam effect for the Arendite sword. And here you have beam effects for the beam boomerangs, which are the tips of the shoulder armors. You can take them off, attach these beam effect parts, and you can also attach those onto the hands as well. And another piece, or rather another runner that has pieces that I haven't used yet. So here we go. So this is basically the beam effect part for the shield. So like I mentioned earlier, the shield can open. You remove the center piece, attach this onto the shield, and then return the center piece like on this top. So basically it's like the F91, like how you attach the beam shield onto the arm. And as you can see right beside it, so this is the beam effect part for the Palma Fiocina, aka the Destiny Finger. So there's only one part for this. So really it's up to you to decide which hand you would attach it on. And then there are two extra pieces for, again, the back of the hands. So you can use that if you like. And then there are these two pieces, which I really don't know where they would go. But they're just extra pieces, I guess. So, yeah. And another runner that I haven't used. So, as you can see here, so these are the open hand parts for use with the Palma Fiocina. So, you could either use these hand armors, attach onto them, attach the Palma Fiocina if you want, and you're good to go. Or if they fit, so you can just use these armor parts on the hands. No, just replace it with these hands and you can attach the Palma Fiocina. That's what you could do. So I also have here like the sticker sheet. So as you notice, other than the eyes and the front head camera, I didn't use any of these stickers because the red stickers are for the beam cannon and the beam sword. But these are so small, they're so insignificant. And these yellow parts are supposed to be on the gems of the hands. So here, as you can see. And then this big yellow piece is supposedly for the main piece or the centerpiece of the shield. And yeah, so there are also two other like stickers right here, so they also go on the sides of the shield. But honestly, I didn't want to bother with those, so I could just ignore it. So yeah, so this is the Destiny Gundam. So I would say the Destiny Gundam is one of my dream units um, from the Gundam Seed franchise. So definitely something that I wanted to have in my collection. And honestly, the Destiny Gundam is one of my favorite uh, mobile suits overall. So I honestly wanted the original TV version of the Destiny Gundam, but I do prefer the color scheme. Like they're brighter, it's more colorful. I like that compared to the Spec 2. But because this is a color version, like it does feel like a rare unit to me, you know. So I decided, yeah, why not? Let's get it and uh, build it. So one thing that also surprised me, so as you might see here, so I have the instruction manual for this one, and look at the difference. This is the color scheme of the original TV version, Destiny Gundam. And look at that. It says Gundam Seed Destiny, right? And looking at the year when this was printed, this was 2019. So they used the same manual for an older kit that came out in 2019. So, basically they have the same parts. Other than the fact that we have, again, clear plastics and, you know, a darker color scheme in general for the Destiny Gundam, all the pieces that were used to make this are basically the same as this. So I guess it makes sense why Bandai doesn't even need to make like a new version just for this one, because really they didn't use any new parts. So compared to like this one, so I actually have here for comparison. So this is uh, the Immortal Justice, right? So yeah, I have a couple of Shin Asuka units right here in my hands. So of course, this one has different parts, and let's say, for example, on the feet, there are zero polycaps on this one. By the way, this one still uses polycaps, but just for some parts. Like inside of the feet, there are some polycaps that you need to use, and on the side skirts, so those have polycaps as well. But for the rest of the unit, no, you don't actually need polycaps. And my polycap runners are still intact mostly. Like, I don't know, like just maybe 20-30% of the items in that polycap runner were used in making this one. The rest you could trash if you want to. But yeah, so it's still really different. Looking at these two units that were both piloted by Shin Asuka. And I remember, that scene in the movie where he says, like, oh, if only I were in the Destiny, I would have kicked your butts. Like, that was his complaint. And looking at the specs, like, yeah, he was kind of right. Because I feel like, compared to the Destiny Gundam, like, the Immortal Justice was a nerf for Shin. Like, I mean, it does have like more melee capabilities, but with a lack of a beam cannon or like a powerful long range weapon, and well, I would say spec wise that the Immortal Justice could be better than the Force Impulse. However, with the Sword Impulse and the Blast Impulse, which are, of course, dedicated uh, attachments to improve either melee combat or long range combat. So, in terms of those, basically uh, the Immortal Justice might lose. Maybe with the beam boomerangs and the Calcetra leg beam cutters that uh, the Immortal Justice also has. Well, I mean, yeah, but definitely one thing that the Immortal Justice lacked would be the Wings of Light, and the fact that this is nuclear powered, right? So yeah, that's why Shin was actually able to defeat like a few Black Knights in the movie after getting the Destiny. It's because, well, yeah, it's kind of true. And the Black Knights do have more powerful units compared to the Immortal Justice. So yeah, well, obviously, this kit is far from perfect, but like I was actually considering looking for either like master grades or even the real grade Destiny Gundam to add to my collection if ever I get the chance. However, looking at reviews for master grades and the real grade, I've never heard of any positive reviews. Oh, maybe it looks good for like a short while, but again, over time, like joints and everything would not be great. I think so. I guess the HG would technically be the best option. I guess so because this was the only thing I found, or this was the only version of the Destiny that I found in the store where I usually buy my gun bluff from. So I decided, yeah, why not? Even though I do prefer this color scheme much more than this one. Again, the clear parts make it look kind of a rare one. Kind of like getting a shiny Pokemon, if you will. So it does feel, exclusive. It does feel a bit rare. But actually looking at the price as well. So looking at the box, so you can see here, I got this for 3,300 yen. So don't be fooled. This says 3,000 yen, but the real price is when you add the tax, by the way. So that's actually 3,300 yen. So be careful when you're buying in Japan. So don't let the bigger price written fool you. And again, looking at the price of that Destiny that came out in 2019, this is actually cheaper than that. So I guess I got myself sort of a deal. And considering everything that this has for the price, well, I think it's okay. It's I wouldn't say it's expensive. Like, it's reasonable enough to justify the price, I would say. And again, it does come with, a lot of accessories. Like the beam effect parts are really, really nice to have. So, yeah, I would say this is still, in general, a solid kit. And yeah, I still love the Destiny Gundam. Even though, again, I do prefer the brighter, more colorful version than this one. But that's just a me issue. So, overall, I'm gonna give the Destiny Gundam Spec 2 clear version. So, a nice 4 out of 5. Could be, better balanced with the backpack, but thankfully I do have an action base that I can use. So, yeah. I do recommend getting an action base still. You can use any 3mm peg that you can attach here. So, yeah, I would still recommend. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, please do leave a like, or, please tell me what you think in the comments. And yeah, As always, thanks for watching. Please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you next time. Bye.